Your Excellencies, heads of diplomatic missions and heads of international organizations, senior government officials, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my singular honor and pleasure to extend my warm and sincere regards to you and all your families, and through you to the esteemed leadership of your respective countries and people at this our belated New Year's occasion. I trust that you all have begun the year in high spirits. We look forward to a successful year ahead with ever-flickering hope and optimism. In spite of the temporary setbacks of the COVID-19 pandemic and other challenges we may face within our respective jurisdictions, it is important that we remain on course towards building a world characterized by peace, unity, love, and a higher quality of life for all our people. The challenges and opportunities that we individually and collectively face within the Committee of Nations demand that we all work harder towards strengthening multilateralism, diplomacy, collaboration, and cooperation. We owe this to present and future generations, and after all, we are stronger together. Allow me, Your Excellencies, to recognize and commend the material and technical support that Zimbabwe received from some of your countries in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic. The milestones attained by my administration would not have been as notable without your generosity, which greatly impacted our COVID-19 national response strategy. Your Excellencies, the Second Republic's policy on engagement and re-engagement remains my administration's overarching thrust. As the government of Zimbabwe, we are committed to be a friend to all and an enemy to none. Our arms remain outstretched to embrace all those countries who are ready to work with us, albeit guided by mutual respect for independence, sovereignty, and unique national realities. As we begin yet another year in our relations, I challenge you, the diplomats accredited to Zimbabwe, to look through the lenses of possibilities and focus on those matters which unite us as opposed to our areas of differences. My country has much more to offer towards building a more peaceful and prosperous world for all. The opportunities are immense across the whole socioeconomic spectrum. Tap into these by projecting the correct picture to your capitals and encouraging your private sectors to invest in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is open for business. I want to commend the general deepening of relations between Zimbabwe and countries from both within the African continent and those overseas. My government welcomes the Commonwealth Secretary General's assessment missions to Zimbabwe and ongoing consultations with Commonwealth member states. We count on the support of the Commonwealth member states in reviewing this issue. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, the Second Republic has registered numerous successes underpinned by a reform agenda geared towards accelerating sustainable economic growth, poverty reduction, as well as human capital development with focus on science, technology, and innovation. As a nation, we are focused at enhancing production and productivity, leveraging on our God-given natural endowments, hard, honest work, and innovation as we march towards achieving our vision of becoming a prosperous and empowered upper middle income economy by 2030. Through the devolution and decentralization agenda, my administration continues entrenching and fostering inclusive development, which leaves no one and no place behind, especially for our rural communities, the women and the youth. We remain grateful to the various development partners who are assisting us in this regard. It is, however, imperative that government, development partners, and community-based organizations alike to work in unison with greater transparency and accountability for the good of the beneficiaries. Resources meant for programs and projects for the people of Zimbabwe must be used solely for that purpose, with tangible benefits to show. I call upon you as representatives of your countries to ensure that the respective sectors in your jurisdictions explore the opportunities in our agriculture, mining, energy, infrastructure development, among others, within our economy. The highly entrepreneurial culture and the ongoing innovation revolution among our people must be harnessed to deliver to the world high-quality products and services by our youth and our women. Zimbabwe is on the move, and I invite your countries to partner with us on this amazing journey to realize sustainable development and a greater prosperity. Let us build and strengthen partnerships that enable investors to take advantage of our improved political and ease of doing business environment. Be rest assured that private capital is safe in Zimbabwe. My administration stands ready to take advantage of the trade arrangements under SADC, COMESA, the Tripartite Free Trade Area, Africa Continental Free Trade Area, the European Union, the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States, and the World Trade Organization. Your Excellencies, the negative impact of climate change remains worrisome. To this end, my government remains committed to increase collaboration and partnerships at both bilateral and multilateral levels to increase climate knowledge, improve adaptation capacity, and reduce over-reliance on the climate-sensitive sectors. Meanwhile, my administration continues to mainstream climate change adaptation and resilience into national policy across all levels. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, my government is unflinching in its commitment to democracy, constitutionalism, good governance, and the rule of law. The preparations for the upcoming by-elections to be held on 26 March 2022 are on course. As an administration, we are unequivocal in our calls for peaceful and non-violent campaigns and free elections. In line with our laws and best practices on the conduct of elections, all accredited diplomats and other observers are free to observe our elections. It is most unfortunate, however, that as Zimbabwe prepares for the 2023 harmonized general elections, some forces are already seeking to influence the national discourse and destabilize the peace and the stability we are enjoying as a country. Sadly, this is not new to us and is part of the decades-old regime change agenda. Those of you who may be inclined to perpetuating this blatant interference in the internal affairs of our country are urged to introspect and stop this unbecoming practice. Let the people of Zimbabwe enjoy their unfettered right to choose their leadership. It is our democratic right, a right which we fought for, and a right which we will protect, respect, and uphold to the letter. Your Excellencies, allow me to seize this opportunity to reiterate Zimbabwe's call for the unconditional removal of the illegal and unilateral sanctions imposed on our country by some Western countries. It is my government's expectation that the independent, evidence-based report being compiled for submission to the United Nations Human Rights Council in September 2022 by the Special Rapporteur on the negative impact of unilateral coercive measures on the enjoyment of human rights would trigger a rethink amongst those that are maintaining these punitive illegal sanctions against us. These illegal sanctions continue to be a stumbling block to the sustainable development of our country, and they cause undue suffering to the ordinary people of Zimbabwe. Your Excellencies, my government's pledge to protect and promote human rights remains cardinal to the pursuit of a diverse, inclusive, and harmonious society. As such, Zimbabwe has invited 6 United Nations Special Procedures mandate holders on human rights. Of these, 3 have already visited, and we continue to engage with a view to scheduling the remaining 3 missions. Recently, Zimbabwe presented its report to the United Nations Human Rights Council Universal Periodic Review Working Group for the 3rd time. The feedback we receive from these periodic review sessions is invaluable and will undoubtedly enrich our quest to entrench a more democratic culture and realize an equitable society for the good of our people. Your Excellencies, in conclusion, my government is firmly convinced that we should all collectively address the challenges confronting the world today through dialogue and cooperation, as opposed to isolation, seclusion, and alienation. On our part, Zimbabwe stands ready to play its part within the Committee of Nations for the realization of greater cooperation, deeper understanding of each other's peculiar circumstances, and the prosperity of all the peoples of this world. With these remarks, I invite you, Your Excellencies, to raise your glasses and join me in a toast to our continued cooperation and friendship, to your good health and that of your families, and to a productive and successful 2022 year. Cheers. I thank you.